Thank you for joining us for this program to commemorate the 20th anniversary of the September 11th attacks with love, peace, and conscience. This anniversary takes place during a trying time for all people around the world, as we're facing a very challenging pandemic and various different man-made and natural disasters. And after 20 years, we are still facing the world with the aspiration and hope for global peace and solidarity. And this hope for peace around the world can be seen throughout history, along with the establishment of the United Nations after the World Wars. However, peace today still requires all of our efforts. And at times, we are still experiencing conflicts in our lives in different parts of the world. Our love is the most important factor that can help us achieve peace, as love, we know, is the most powerful energy in the world when we practice it. And the awakening of conscience is crucial for us to overcome the challenges before us. So we hope with positive messages in today's program will bring hope around the world, soothe the pains of all living creatures, and cleanse our souls to create a world of love and peace. We have invited some guests to join us today in revisiting the past and building a brighter future together. Let's welcome them. We have Long. Hi, Long.
Hello, everybody. My name is Long Ogle, a member of Tao-Tze Academy, living in Florida.
Thank you, Long. Welcome. Next, we have Anne.
Hello, everyone. I'm Anne from Tao-Tze Qigong Academy. I'm currently living in Los Angeles.
Hi, Anne. Thank you for joining us. And next, we'd like to welcome Pamela.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me today. I'm Pamela from Federation World Peace and Love, FOWPAL, from Los Angeles.
Great. Welcome. Next, we have Michael. Hi, Michael.
Hello, everyone. I'm Michael Selfridge with the Federation of World Peace and Love, and I'm in Ventura, California.
Thank you, Michael. And next, we'd like to welcome Fabienne.
Hi, everyone. I'm Fabienne from San Jose.
And Fabienne's also representing FOWPAL. Welcome, Fabienne. And next, we'd like to welcome Oliver. Hi, Oliver.
Hi, I'm Oliver. I'm from Tao-Tze Qigong Academy. I'm in Taipei, Taiwan.
Thank you, Oliver. Thank you all for joining us. Each and every single one of our volunteers today will be sharing about their experiences and to revisit history, but also the most important, to gather our positive energy and this hope and aspiration for peace and really pull everyone together to work on this together. So we would like to really start with revisiting the 9/11, an incident that really shook the world. And before we dive into the stories, we have a clip that takes us back to 2001. So as we can see from the video, it truly was a tremendous shock to all of us. I remember I was in junior high at the time, and our teacher had stopped lecturing, and we were all just sitting in the classrooms watching the news without really words to really or comprehend what was happening. And Long, I know you were there during the 9/11. Can you take us back to that moment?
November 2001, Dr. Hong and members of FOWPAL were in New York to attend the General Assembly at the United Nations. And we stayed on the 34th floor of one UN plaza, where we could see the World Trade Center. On the morning of September 11, 2001, we heard a plane flying low. Out of curiosity, we looked out of the window and we witnessed the first plane crash into the World Trade Center. And it was about 8:46 a.m. And we cried, "Oh my God, an accident." A few minutes later, I guess around 9:03 or 4, we witnessed a second plane crash into the tower. Then we realized something very wrong. We saw the tower start crumbling down, shrouded in smoke and engulfed in flames. At the same time, we also see things falling out of the windows. And we found that those were people jumping out of the windows. More than 3,000 people were killed, and my college classmate was one of them. And it happened 20 years ago, but the memories still stay in my mind vividly. And we are going back to New York in memories of the victims. Thank you.
Thank you, Long. So the picture that you had described for us, really you can feel the pain and all the craziness that happened during that time. And I know that Tao-Tze Qigong Academy and the Federation of World Peace and Love volunteered to stay in New York to host the ceremony, Ring the Bell of World Peace and Love, to console everyone. So Pamela, can you share with us what that was like?
Sure. I want to say that I saw the first plane hit the tower and couldn't believe that is true until I saw the second plane hit the tower again. Wow, it wasn't a scene from a Hollywood movie. It happened right in front of my eyes. It's a disaster. Everyone was evacuated to the hotel's entrance and where the hotel employees conduct a security check. Everyone appears to be in a state of very panic, worry, and also discuss about the terrorist attack that may have the third plane approaching the next probable target, the Pentagon and the White House. You know, we can see the NYPD police car, fire truck, and hear the sirens all over the street. You know, when the disaster happened right before us, is there any other options we can do? You know, our original plan was the ceremony of ringing the bell of peace, you know, to be held by FOWPAL, and also during the General Assembly and the NGO annual conference, Tao-Tze arranged a cultural performance to commemorate the International Day of Peace. And Dr. Hong, the leader of the Federation of World Peace and Love, and also the Tao-Tze man, he had prepared himself for his UN speech. We were there as a prophylactic step, bring people together to create a world of love and peace. However, with the terrorist attacks on September 11th, 2001, everything has changed. So when everyone was still in the very emotional aftermath of 9/11 attacks and attempting to schedule a flight home, Dr. Hong had led the members of Tao-Tze and FOWPAL in our efforts to try our best to contact the UN ambassadors and the friends we meet who want to attend the meeting there to, you know, come to the hotel and ring the bell of peace. For all of us back then, we don't have any second thoughts or hesitations. We just want to do it. We want to make it happen. So I recall an ambassador coming to the hotel, and he told us he was walking for a couple of streets to make, to ring the bell of peace. And another ambassador called us. He wanted to attend the ceremony and ring the bell of peace, but he was stuck on the bridge. So, you know, at that moment, all of us, everyone has the same inspiration. With a sincere heart, and we have a truly wish for peace, as well as a grief for those who perished in the accident. That's the only thought we have. I remember that one of FOWPAL's friends, he was so touched about the affection and the message we were trying to convey in that very hard time. So he contacted his friend and at the MNN television station in New York and arranged a program for us. The show was originally scheduled for 35 minutes, but at the end of that day, it's a 4 hours live TV show. I also invite several friends I met who were planning to attend the annual conference, to attend the TV program in the MNN station. So they are very support and want to join to convey the message of peace and love. So we walked from East 44th Street to West 59th Street. It took nearly an hour of walking. Some of them are my grandparents' age. So it's really touched. When I see them read out the message for world peace, I'm so touched.
Thank you, Pamela. Just imagining the hour of walking, the determination to bring more serenity for people who are experiencing this traumatic incident. Let's take a look at this clip from the Manhattan Neighbor Network broadcast for the ceremony.
The Earth is our common home. Yesterday's incident was a major tragedy in history. We are all in mourning. May the souls of the departed rest in peace, and may the living be consoled. May everyone be blessed with peace, and may the disaster be overcome as soon as possible. We hope that by promoting world peace, we can all work together to spread the energy of love. We pray that global citizens will begin a new life with sincere hearts, recover from sorrow, and face everything bravely. Let us fill the hearts of world citizens with love and peace. September 12, 2001.
Peace, love, unity, صلح، عشق، اتحاد. During the 60s, the United States tried to make peace with war in Vietnam. Then Pope Paul VI preached a sermon at the UN General Assembly, and it had 3 points. My commitment to peace is those 3 points. 1, no more war. 2, war no more. 3, war never again. And to that I say, amen.
I, Sajni Afidani, commit myself to the working of world peace, to be instrument of the same in my personal and professional life. I pray for the peace daily and act so that I can make the difference. Equity, justice, and peace-related attitude will help in cutting out the cycle of violence.
The ceremonial ringing of the bell by distinguished guests and the ceremonies between the ringing of the bell were beautiful. They were performed by artists that I have to say I haven't seen anything of that caliber before, and it touched me in a very special way. I believe your message of peace and love is one in which can transcend any other message in this world. and can reach the hearts of everybody, regardless of culture, regardless of race, regardless of gender.
Very pleased to be a part of this organization as an ambassador of peace. The honor that you have given me is a great honor, and I will promote the organization that is going around talking about peace, especially today. September 11th is a very important day in all our lives. For all the people in the world, wherever you go, please remember that peace is the most important thing in our lives.
I agree with Dr. Hong. It must begin in the heart. If it is not in the heart, it will not last. If there is real peace and love in your heart, and that can be communicated, and other people adopt the same method, that is when real peace and love will prevail.
So for the ceremony of the ringing of the bell of world peace and love to succeed, I think it really requires the calm hearts of all of those who were part of the ceremony, and especially the bell ringers, and those words of wishes to be put into action to make this all a very successful ceremony in the end. And I know with the attack in New York, many people were speculating that Hawaii might be the next target. But Dr. Hong and the volunteers of FOWPAL and Taijimen insisted on making the trip to Hawaii as promised to bring the positive energy there as well. So we'd like to see what happened then and why it was so important to continue the trip. Long, can you share with us your experience of what happened to Hawaii?
Well, after 9/11, we finally, a few days later, we finally booked 2 flights. And then we finally arrived at Honolulu. All the activities, of course, were canceled. However, at Hawaii Theater Center, our brothers and sisters present an excellent performance, and on this September 16, 2001, a person working with the mayor, Jeremy Harris, present a word of merit to Dr. Hong on behalf of the mayor of Honolulu, and recognized him an honorary citizen of Honolulu for his outstanding contribution to cultural goodwill and his dedication to social harmony throughout the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Wong. And Pamela, you were also part of this process. What do you remember?
Yeah, I remember the Hawaii trip was planned ahead before the 9/11 attack. So everything was arranged. So, when the 9/11 happened, we may think, a lot of things need to be changed. So, but, as a martial art practitioners, there are something very unique. Is the commitment. We keep the promise as martial arts practitioners. So Dr. Hong takes the leads. He set a very good example, and he encouraged all of us who can make it happen. Just, we just keep the promise. So I'm very glad to be part of it, the history. When I was trying to book the tickets back to LA, I cannot book the direct flight, but I got the flight layover from Honolulu and LA. So I still make the trip happen. I recall very clearly that when I went to the JFK airport, I never seen any moment the JFK is so peaceful. Everyone was, lying in order, very, silent, peaceful, and we support each other by our eye contacts, with a very deep and sincere smile, not happy smile, but, very supportive smile to each other. We know that this is the most, tragedy we had encountered in this century, not only for the United States, but also for our world. So I stayed one night, no hot food, in the JFK and went to the Honolulu. And I'm very, respect to the leader's vision that the message of peace, it need to be conveyed, especially in a critical time. So the message of love and peace, the bell ringing ceremony was held in Honolulu is very significant, not only for, convey the message. It's a symbol that people work together. That's an inspiration of our hearts. We need to work together no matter in what kind of situation we have encountered. That's the message. That's the thing I want to say.
Thank you, Pamela. The description of the airport really symbolizes what humanity can do in trying times, especially like now, as well as we commemorate the 20th anniversary. We reflect on what's happening today. We could still have that sincere heart, the look, the smile, and that shared energy of wanting to create something better for all of us, for all humanity. So thank you for taking us back. And you mentioned this commitment. I believe we have a clip now from 1999. This commitment that Dr. Hong had was not only for Hawaii, but this commitment to promote love and peace. Let's take a look at this clip from September 25th, 1999.
The year 2000 is a testimony to human civilization and serves as a milestone in creating a better world. By means of love of the world, a declaration of peace, we express the aspirations of all humanity, praying for the well-being of all peoples in a new century. We wish to sound the bell of peace to awaken mankind's good intentions, through which we will strive for a glorious future together. It is believed that only a sincere heart can touch the depths of one's soul. Therefore, we truly hope that those of all ages, different beliefs and races, both rich and poor, have a genuine, cheerful, and peace-loving heart. As a result, they will show respect and love for their families, others, their countries, and the world through their actions. And we are looking forward to returning to a harmonious world in which there is no suffering, no fear, no war, and no pain. We anticipate that the spirit of love and peace will spread across the world, turning evil into good and stopping war. Creating a better tomorrow with wisdom will prevent human tragedies from happening again and will bring progress and prosperity to all countries. If all peoples respect and learn from one another open-mindedly, conflicts will be transformed into long-lasting peace. Our love will keep the water clean and the environment beautiful forever. This way, our offspring will enjoy a pleasant, harmonious, and affluent world.
Clergyman understands this and understands that our conduct must mirror our words, must match our sentiments. Otherwise, however noble the words may be, the result will be quite inadequate. If we desire peace, we must act peace. If we wish for harmony, we must learn how to live in harmony with one another.
A bell is not a bell until you ring it. A song is not a song until you sing it. With the ringing of this bell, it is my wish, the wish of all free people, that international peace, security, and development will result from the ringing of this bell here today.
My wish is that we will achieve peace through winning the war against poverty, through expanding democracy, and through reaching out to each other. In Africa, we call it Ubuntu.
World peace is the dream of all humankind, and the bell of world peace and love connects heads of state and leaders from countries all over the world. Motivated by selfless love, visionary leaders ring the bell, allowing the sounds of peace and safety to resonate across the planet, keeping the world away from sorrow, fear, war, and pain.
So we can see from this clip of 1999, Dr. Tao-Tze, who's a Zhangmenren of Taijimen and president of the Federation of World Peace and Love, presented a special message during the blessing ceremony and launched the Love of the World Declaration of Peace. And his initiative, his speech really encompassed his hope for the future, and it is something that he and FOWPAL and Taijimen continues to do today. And all of this with the invitation of the Seafair Congress and Seattle Kaohsiung Sister City Association, Taijimen made their first stop to Seattle for the Seafair Torchlight Parade 50th anniversary. Let's take a look at what they accomplished on that trip.
The parade troop comprised 380 male and female, old and young Taijimen Dizi from all walks of life, and a Taijimen dragon drum of 170 centimeters in diameter appearing for the first time in Seattle. It made a huge sound when struck. Soon after, the dragon, the qilin, lion, martial arts, the celestial drums, cultural dance, the flags, and cloth horse performed in turn. More than 10 exquisite displays of the essence of national culture, providing a feast for the eyes of the audience. America's Kiro 7 had exclusive broadcasting rights for that day's procession, and each troop was introduced for 50 seconds. But the stunning experience brought by the Taijimen Taiji Jun prompted the anchor especially to devote 5 minutes of time to introducing in detail this beautiful troop from Taiwan, enabling more foreign friends to get to know Taiwan better. It was an extremely successful piece of cultural diplomacy.
What an amazing trip to Seattle. Long, we noticed you were in the clip. Can you share with us how that trip went?
Taijimen Cultural Goodwill Group visited U.S. on July 31st, 1999. It was the first trip toward cultural exchange. At the 50th anniversary of Seafair, the Torchlight Parade made up 140 groups from different countries. And Dr. Hong and his wife waved to the specular from limousines. The Taijimen formation was the largest one. It attracts the hearts of the citizen. On the date of the parade, Cairo's 7 television in Seattle televised live coverage of the parade. And the people just yell and cry and say, I have watched every year's parade. This one is the most unforgettable. Someone even asked, you groups, it's awesome. Where are you from? So, and how do you do it? We were so proud of what we have contributed to our country, Taiwan, and of Taijimen Academy. Thank you.
Thank you, Long. We did see from the video, everyone was very, very excited. And it goes to show how cultural exchanges can really bring us together, regardless of what, sometimes we experience where cultural differences might make us have conflicts. But in reality, if we're willing with a switch, the difference in our cultures can really bring us together when we learn to appreciate each other. So thank you for, taking us back to your memories of Seattle. And we know that the day after the Grand Parade, a group of the volunteers continued their journey to San Francisco for the 4th International Wushu Festival, where Dr. Hong presented a speech that included his vision that Dr. Hong had back then, but we still continue to see he achieved today. Let's take a look.
The day after the Seattle Seafair parade, more than 300 chivalrous men and women of the Energy family went to the city blessed with the reputation of the capital of international martial arts, San Francisco, to take part in the 4th International Wushu Festival, organized by the World Chinese Traditional Sports Federation, to promote Chinese traditional martial arts, martial culture, and martial virtue. Also in San Francisco, Dr. Hong Tao-Tze delivered his speech, A World of One Heart, a Wellspring of Happiness, elaborating on the goals and intentions behind the Taijimen Culture Goodwill Group's conduct of global cultural exchange.
太极门的文化博大精深，无穷无尽。太极门弟子热忱善良，四海皆亲。太极门的精神是民胞物语，情同手足。太极门青善文化访论团选择了美国这个世界的窗口作为第一站，是希望有更多不同信仰、不同种族的人，不论富贵贫贱，都能和我们一样，拥有一颗幸福快乐的心。
So since then, Dr. Hong and Taijimen have been spreading love and peace around the world through various forms. And while spreading love and peace on one hand, Taijimen has also been working on promoting human rights and promoting more peace and security for people around the world. And we see, Pamela mentioned the martial arts spirit of being brave and sticking to their commitments. And I think it's also being brave to do the right thing, being brave to protect those who are weak or in need of help. And so revisiting in 2000, where Mayor Anthony A. Williams of the District of Columbia proclaimed March 22nd, 2000 as the Taijimen Qigong Academy Day in Washington, D.C., and praised Taijimen as International Ambassador of Goodwill and Peace. However, in July this year, Taijimen returned to Washington, D.C. to voice their concern and support for global human rights and for an end to the Taijimen's human rights persecution. Let's take a look at that recent trip.
21 years ago, Taijimen Qigong Academy visited Washington, D.C. as ambassadors of peace and goodwill.
The Mayor of the District of Columbia does hereby proclaim March 22nd, 2000 as Taijimen Qigong Academy Day in Washington, D.C., and we welcome these international ambassadors of peace and goodwill.
21 years later, members of Taijimen Qigong Academy returned to Washington, D.C. to seek justice and raise international awareness of their situation. Taijimen Qigong Academy is a spiritual group with various academies in Taiwan and the U.S. The group strongly believes that they are being persecuted in democratic Taiwan through a tax evasion indictment beginning in 1996 that reached Taiwan's Supreme Court.
Despite the Supreme Court of Taiwan's rulings that we're innocent and tax-free, a few rogue bureaucrats continue to send us tax bills, and even just last year in 2020, our land was illegally auctioned off.
Justice for Taijimen!
This summer, Taijimen Qigong Academy and the Action Alliance to Redress 1219 publicized their cause through live and virtual events. The Action Alliance to Redress 1219 is a group of international and Taiwanese legal, religious, and human rights specialists working to rectify the Taijimen case and defend religious and spiritual freedom. In Washington, D.C., members of Action Alliance to Redress 1219 participated in the 3-day International Religious Freedom Summit. Former U.S. Ambassador Sam Brownback helped launch the summit as a forum for tackling religious discrimination around the world.
The charter that we put forward for this summit is a broad-based charter for all faiths or people of no faith at all, but it's about protecting that right of freedom of belief or conscience, freedom of religion.
In 2007, the Taiwan Supreme Court found Taijimen Qigong Academy not guilty of tax evasion and cleared the group of all charges. But Taiwan's Taxation Bureau disregarded the court decision and continued to impose taxes on Taijimen Qigong Academy.
In Taiwan, our enforcement law actually matches the two international covenants because it says that the properties for worship, for prayings, are not subject to be seized.
During a June 17, 2010 public hearing in the Legislative Yuan, Taiwan's Ministry of Finance openly agreed to resolve the case within 2 months. That has still not occurred. As a result, Taijimen's sacred land was auctioned and nationalized on August 21, 2020.
What we're asking for is to return that property to Taijimen and to hold the corrupt officials accountable.
The group visited TECRO, the Taiwan Economic and Cultural Representative Office, where Taijimen Qigong Academy silently protested outside. TECRO representatives came outside to talk to the protesters. Taijimen members delivered a message and books about the case to them.
We're Taijimen members in the USA. We're calling on Taiwan's government, especially President Tsai, to redress our tax case. We have just conveyed our message to Taiwan's Representative Xiao in the D.C. Until Taiwan's government take quick action to redress our case and return our land, we'll keep advocating for our case in the U.S. and internationally.
So far, there has been no response from the Taiwan government. The Action Alliance to Redress 1219 continues to ramp up global awareness through efforts like virtual forums.
It is the year 2021, and we hope sooner rather than later that the case will be resolved. And I think we're standing in front of something that is a big symbol for justice, and we hope to continue our fight. This journey is not only for ourselves, but for human rights all around the world.
We saw from the clip that Taijimen returned to Washington, D.C., also to attend the International Religious Freedom Summit. Anne, who is a lawyer, and also Taijimen Tao-Tze was also there for the summit. Anne, what are your thoughts on this case?
I'm very honored to share with everyone today Taijimen's journey to protect human rights and justice. Beginning in 1996, the Taijimen case is one of the longest standing cases of violations of freedom of religion and belief in Taiwan, with more than tens of thousands of victims. At the Earth Summit in July this year, we explained to the attendees that we are Taiwanese Americans working to rescue groups in Taiwan who are being persecuted for their religion or belief. Everyone was very surprised and assumed that something like this would only happen in China. We all know that unlike mainland China, Taiwan has religious freedom. However, this was not always the case. Taiwan had a policy of controlling and repressing independent spiritual movements during the martial law period and thereafter. Despite the fact that Taijimen did not owe any tax, and there were appeals by Taiwanese and international NGOs, scholars, and politicians in Taiwan, the Taiwan's Taxation Bureau refused to admit mistakes, and in 2020, they confiscated our sacred land where we intended to build a spiritual center. Over the past 24 years, Taijimen has exhausted all means, hoping that the law-bending officials' conscience will be awakened, hope that they will do the right thing by withdrawing illegal tax bills. However, after all our efforts, what we got in return was violations of due process, human rights infringements, and unjust auctions of civilians' properties. We spread love and pray for the world in New York and Hawaii 20 years ago. After 20 years, when we return to the same location, it is said that we are speaking. We believe that by gathering support from all over the world, the Taijimen case will be rectified and justice will be served. Thank you.
Thank you. And we all really have to be brave, really, to settle all sorts of conflicts that happen every day, including, in this instance, the case like the Taijimen case. And in the bigger picture, to overcome this case is to really amplify the need for justice and respect for human rights. And Taijimen has worked hard for over 24 years to end this persecution. So we know that unfortunately that the volunteers are, in this period of time now back in Hawaii and New York, and instead of focusing on spreading love through bell ring ceremonies or cultural exchanges, they are urging the need for human rights protection on the Taijimen case. I know Oliver, who is also a Taijimen Tao-Tze, has joined us today. Would you like to share your thoughts on this case?
Okay. I would like to share with everyone. This is the mission of the Taijimen practitioner to help the world through the promotion of the conscience, love, and peace. This is the reason why after the attack, 9/11, we instead of the left New York, we stayed and we invite the UN ambassador and the NGO leader to ring the bell of the peace and sending the message of the love and peace at that moment. Under the guidance of Dr. Hong, we had been working on our own without raising the fund to accomplish our mission in the world. When we promote the love and peace, promote the conscience around the world, we receive so many goodwill, support from many good people. But to accomplish our mission was not that easy. We also suffered by very strong resistance. In 1996, some Taiwan government officials persecuted our human rights. It's a very difficult time. So you may see in the past 24 years, we need to fight against the evil force for our innocence, while we promote love and peace in the world. They persecuted us through the criminal and taxation. It is the very common method to persecute the religious and belief organization by dictatorship, the government. But it also happened in Taiwan. Professor Kenneth Jackson, professor of the law, Temple University in USA, he said, "I've seen more abuse right of the due process in any situation I have seen in Taijimen case." Although we have been working very hardly for 10 years, in years 2007, we found not guilty and did not owe the tax. We were so happy because we won. But the IRS officer, they ignored they ignored the decision of the court trial. And they were not willing to revoke the tax bill. Instead, they demand us to pay part of the bill to settle the case. You know, there's no right. How can a government persecute a human right? Then after some day, they ask the victim to accept part of the persecution. And that means we admit the officials, they was right. They did not persecute the human right. Is that right? Because of the, although if we compromise, we may pay less. But because of we are practitioners, we decided not to compromise on our principle. And because of the we did not compromise, the government officials, they took away our sacred land last year, 2020, August 21st. But this persecution never affect our heart to help the world, because the Dr. Hong's his lifelong ambition is to love the world and to be peace with the whole world. So in the past 24 years, we still work for the love and peace, promoting the love and peace around the world. And we even believe strongly that the importance of the promoting love and peace around the world to eliminate the evil thought and evil deed is very important. So we will keep going. Thank you. This is my share. Thank you.
Thank you, Oliver. And since the beginning of the program, we covered from attacks like the 9/11 to now hearing about the Tao-Tze case and the persecution, the hatred and the animosity or the attacks, the persecution, in order for us to win these fights, sometimes we need to really look on the other side of it and use the love to transcend all of this. I think that sometimes is the biggest drive for us. Imagine in our lives, in our daily lives too, on a smaller scale. I have forgiven someone I chose because of love, perhaps a brother, maybe one of, that's something that you have experienced on a smaller scale too. I could use that same love and that same ideology as in my work. And for someone who has the power or his decision can affect many people, we could also use that same ideology of using love to override the hate in the heart. I know that in the Chinese characters for martial arts, Wushu, it is the depictions of settling conflicts and to spread kindness. And I remember one of the Tao-Tze volunteers shared with me that as he speaks of the injustice, he makes sure that he feels the love in the heart, because then it'll be very important that what he is doing or saying is driven by love and hope for improvements instead of hate. And with that, I think we can accomplish many things, and instead of creating more conflicts around the world. So it's hard to imagine the emotions that the Tao-Tze hold in their heart, Tao-Tze Dizi hold in their hearts, going from pain to trying to end the persecution, but never during this time stopping to spread love around the world. So regardless of the trials and tribulations, they have continued to plant seeds of love and peace around the world, creating wonderful memories. And Dr. Hong has never ceased to do this with Tao-Tze and also the Federation of World Peace and Love. Now we'd like to share with you a clip that introduces the Federation of World Peace and Love.
The Federation of World Peace and Love, FOWPAL, established by Dr. Hong Tao-Tze in 2000, is a US-based peace organization. It promotes love and peace through various means. World Leader Summits of Love and Peace, providing a platform for an exchange of ideas and experiences. Dialogues with global leaders, sharing wisdom for the betterment of the world. Cultural exchanges, bringing people closer together through culture. Endorsement campaigns, promoting ideas of conscience, love, peace, and human rights. Bell ringing ceremonies, visionary leaders ringing the bell and making wishes for peace. Dr. Hong has led FOWPAL members to visit 101 nations to unite peace promoters in different parts of the world. With more people's conscience awakened, we will generate powerful positive energy and create a world of love, peace, and conscience.
And today we have with us Michael, the Director of Communications for FOWPAL. We'd like to invite him to share with us and elaborate more on what FOWPAL has been doing the past 20 years and something influential, perhaps a little bit more on the meaning of ringing the bell of world peace and love. Michael.
Greeting everyone. Thank you for having us today and participating in today's event. And I think one good story about the meaning of the bell about what we've been doing over the last 20 years is we were holding an event in 2018 in Austria. It was a bell ringing ceremony, and an antiquities dealer came up to me, and he's really fascinated by the bell and wanted to know about its history and whatnot. And so I was explaining to him, because he deals with ancient artifacts, but the Bell of Peace is a modern day artifact. It has traveled to every continent except for Antarctica and had world leaders, 43 world leaders, governmental leaders, ring the Bell of Peace. 7 Nobel Prize laureates ring the Bell of Peace. And we've also had 399 total bell ringers of this modern day artifact to participate, make bells of peace, make wishes for peace by ringing the Bell of Peace, and to spread this energy around the world, these positive wishes and this vision of peace for everyone. So we've traveled to 101 nations, as you saw in the video, and conducted over 3,000 cultural exchanges, spreading this mission, this vision of a world for peace. And one thing that we see everywhere we go is everybody truly desires that desire, that wish for peace in the world, stability in their lives. They don't want or seek out this conflict. The conflict is not something we want in the world. And lately we've been hearing a lot about vaccines. And the way I look at our efforts that we do as the Federation of World Peace and Love, visiting different countries, doing cultural exchanges, is to share this common heart, this common desire for peace in our lives, peace in our communities, peace in our world. And this is really something that we treat like a vaccine, so that we know that when you see other countries, other nations, they say, oh, those are the bad guys, they hate you, whatever, that actually they've experienced people of different backgrounds, different origins, and they know that the common dream of peace in our lives is universal throughout the world. And so this is our treatment. This is how we are presenting, trying to spread this vision of peace. And when we have the world leaders ring this bell, make a wish for peace, it really, I think of the power of a wish, and that reverberations of the bell springing on their continent, in their home nation, spreading out from the bell ringing ceremony. This is very powerful, and it brings those wishes to life. We've actually had several world leaders there's a video we'll share in a moment, but several world leaders that have made a wish for peace and then fulfilled that wish for peace by bringing peace through theirs. One of those leaders was the president of Dominican Republic, President Lionel Fernandez. And he, in 2005, he proclaimed the International Love of Peace Day. And later he was actually went forward to stop a war in South America. So this is really important efforts that we're doing, and they have these concrete actions, these wishes result in concrete efforts and of creating a more peaceful and loving world.
Thank you, Michael. And Michael mentioned about the September 15th, where the Declaration for International Love and Peace Day, Dr. Hong and President Leonel Fernandez worked together to promote that. And I know every year FOWPAL continues to celebrate that day on September 15th as International Love and Peace Day as a reminder that we are all in this together. And I remember from FOWPAL's website in 2001, there was a bell ringer, an ambassador of Grenada to the UN, Dr. Lemuel Stanislaus said, "A bell is not a bell until you ring it. Love is not love until you practice it." And I remember what he made as his wish before he rang the bell, because that what he said was so simple, right? Bell is not a bell until you ring it. Love is not love until you practice it. But it's so true. Love could be a noun, but we can make it come to life when we put it into action. And so next we have a clip from FOWPAL of highlighting 3 presidents who put their wishes and their words into action and the impact it had as a result. Let's take a look.
Na vossa sede, que eu disse para que as crianças encontrem de novo o sorriso. E ao Dr. Ko e a sua esposa, todos os...
In the aftermath of the coup in July 2003, President Menez treated his political foes with forgiveness to realize his wishes when ringing the bell of peace.
Senegal, its people, its government and president long equal to all women and men of the world to build and consolidate peace in the world.
President Wade put his wish of peace into practice by calling upon the unity of African regions. In 2008, he negotiated a peace agreement between Sudan and Chad, ending the 5-year conflict, and brought peace and safety to millions of people.
Well, let me tell you, it's very emotional. And for me, it's been a great experience. Having a World Summit for Love and Peace, this is what the world needs. So I want to commend you, and I want to somehow show you my support and the support of the Dominican people.
President Leonel Fernandez struck peace among 3 South American nations with wisdom to defuse the risk of war and protected the happiness of many families.
So we see from these presidents that it is possible, and with their decisions, to create peace, regardless of maybe what they gain from it, but more so what the people of their country could gain from. So with the love, we appreciate what they have done, and we look forward in the future for more leaders around the world to also do the same, to think of the people in their hearts as they make each decision. And so we know Dr. Hong has also been working on the idea of promoting the culture of peace with love and conscience, as conscience is our guide to tell us what is right and what is wrong. And so next we'd like to invite Fabienne to share with us on this journey of creating and promoting conscience.
Hi, everyone. In addition to the ceremony of ring the bell peace that you just see from the video clip, FOWPAL has many ways to promote love and peace. Now I'd like to share with you another initiatives. Okay, indeed that we have seen nature disaster after disaster, calamities after calamities, and there's no sign of slowing down. The trust among people is collapsing. I think we wonder, where is the solution to all these problems? I think people really feel very anxious and uncertain about our future. To this end, I think Dr. Hong had proposed a solution in the year 2014 to launch so-called an era of conscience. It's a movement together with the Tao-Tze Qigong Academy and Association of World Citizens to invite people to speak kind words and do good deeds and to spread love, positive influence of goodness. The initiator of this ANEOC, Dr. Hong, he says once, kind intention and good hearts are the positive energies necessary to safeguard the Earth's sustainable development. And also a declaration was launched at the same time. And this declaration has been translated into 53 languages. And since the launch, it has been collected supporters from 200 nations, and also people from 194 nations has endorsed the declaration. And I think it's a big achievement that through all these different activities, we try to invite people to think about the importance of the conscience, because we truly believe that only conscience can resolve all the conflicts and hatred and human rights violations. And FOWPAL has been promoting the culture of peace with love and conscience at the same time, because, you know, our world continually facing many challenges. You see, we have poverty, violence, war everywhere, and the recent COVID-19, I think people really feel they're scared. Where are we going to in the future? And how can we do to resolve the problem and atone our mistakes? Okay, so now I'm going to introduce a little bit about this IC Day. And starting from year 2018, FOWPAL already convened many meetings with UN ambassadors and promote the importance of cultural peace with love and conscience. And, you know, the following year, April 5th, for the first time, FOWPAL had launched the global endorsement campaign for the Declaration of International Day of Conscience at a UN headquarters. And our achievement and efforts had won international recognition and support. And today, like the movement of an era of conscience, our declaration for IC Day also has been translated into 53 languages and endorsed by 195 countries. And the amazing achievement that the United Nations declared April 5th as International Day of Conscience, and the United Nations General Assembly invite all member states and organizations of the UN system and other international and regional organizations to build the culture of peace with love and conscience. And this UN Day is the 166th of the United Nations Day, and that has been achieved through all the member states and in very short time. I think that's an amazing achievement through the joint efforts of all the member states and also FOWPAL. And I think this is very important for all the humanity, and it reminds all of us to self-reflect every day and making every day as International Day of Conscience, because then every day we can take time to think about what we have done wrong and what we want to improve for the following days. So this will help us to achieve our inner peace. And I truly believe that if everyone has peace in mind, and then conflicts, violence, human rights violation, that kind of negative thoughts will go away easily. And there's another important achievement that FOWPAL had through this so-called International Day of Conscience. It was last year during UNESCO executive board meeting, in his decision 209, so the code is EX29, requested the Director General of UNESCO to mark the International Day of Conscience to be held annually on April 5th at UNESCO headquarters, Paris, and UNESCO field offices with the participation of member states and other partners. And you see, since last year, the first April 5th, the first anniversary, we have held virtual events and to invite world leaders and NGOs to speak about conscience and love and peace. And as of today, we have hosted 34 virtual events, and we have benefited several hundreds of thousands of participants around the world. And from my experience, throughout this whole journey of being the volunteer of ANEOC and IC Day, promoting the culture of peace, and as well as FOWPAL members, I see more and more people, more and more, especially world leaders, talking about the importance of conscience. Every piece of our effort can make a big impact on the earth. So we all play a very important role by practicing the culture of peace with love and conscience. So I encourage all of you, every one of us can start from oneself to practice love and peace and conscience on a daily basis. And let's make the world a better place through our joint effort. Thank you.
Thank you, Fabienne, for sharing that journey and the importance of, or simplicity and importance of saying kind words and doing good deeds. We have brought a video to share with all of you as well on the International Day of Conscience.
Conscience is the origin of all beings, the fire of life, the source of goodness, and the pivot of peace. Since the COVID-19 crisis, the world has experienced the biggest challenge since World War II. We need the power of conscience more than ever to rebalance our world.
The day of 5th April, from now on,
the United Nations declared April 5th as the International Day of Conscience in July 2019. Since then, FOWPAL has engaged in various events to promote this day and inspire conscience-driven actions. Since the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, FOWPAL has started to hold virtual events to emphasize the importance of conscience and work together with people around the world for a peaceful and conscience-guided world. Ever since the first International Day of Conscience, over 22 virtual events have been conducted in celebration of various United Nations days with an emphasis on conscience. These events have been live-streamed on IC Day's YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. To date, IC Day has attracted over 3.3 million views worldwide on its social media platforms. Not only have civil society organizations actively promoted the International Day of Conscience, the United Nations system also highlights its importance. The Executive Board of UNESCO, in its Decision 209-X29, requested the Director General to mark the International Day of Conscience to be held annually on the 5th of April at UNESCO headquarters, Paris, and in UNESCO field offices with the participation of member states and other partners. We are very glad to have many influential leaders joining our IC Day events over the past year, injecting powerful positive energy into our planet to stabilize the world. We are thankful to United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres for sending us his video messages in support of our events. We look forward to a more successful year ahead. Let's continue to spread the message of conscience to every citizen and every corner of the world. With conscience comes a peaceful world. With happiness comes joyful families.
Thank you for sharing that wonderful initiative with all of us. And when Fabienne mentioned the invitation of for everyone to say kind words and do good deeds, and for me, of all the panelists who joined us today, I just imagining if I said something nice to you today and you said something nice to someone else, the impact it could have. And you have all left a very strong memory for me today, for being here, and for your beautiful smile and your very elegance. And I love the pink top and the whole energy that you have. That is my thought to you. And for Anne, for being so professional and very clean with the presentation and that urge to want to put an end to the Tao-Tze case in hopes of a betterment of the future. And Michael, being a representative from FOWPAL, your presentation today and your memories bring that for all of us once again. Being very neat today with your suit, very wonderful looking. That is my memory of you. And Pamela, thank you for taking us back to 2001, the incident, and really letting us live through your stories. And also a very beautiful scarf. This is what I remember of you today. And Oliver, I know from where you are, it's very late, but you still continue to wear a smile on your face to join us today. And for Fabienne, of course, reminding us that the simplicity of saying kind words and doing good deeds. Will you remember these kind wishes today? I will remember all of you for being here with us today to commemorate the 20th anniversary, and also looking on what's happening now and looking on to the future and holding on to this positive energy that has been spread throughout the history, and to continue to put that forward for more people around the world. And so that is what we hope for. And personally, I've actually heard Dr. Hong say once in his speech to the students at the City Montessori School in India that conscience means an excellent heart. And since we are all endowed with conscience, every single one of us has an excellent heart. And we'd like to once again invite Anne, who has been part of the Taijimen Qigong Academy since a young age. So I'm very sure that this love and the idea of conscience, this purity, has been with her for a long time, to share with us once more how that has been for you.
Thank you, Judy. I started practicing Taijimen Qigong at age 7 with my parents. I have gained physical, mental, and spiritual health from practicing Taijimen Qigong. I also learned a lot of wisdom in life from my Shifu, Dr. Hong. I learned to share with the world my happiness and my stories of becoming a better person. In 1999, I attended the 50th Seafair parade in Seattle, together with Dr. Hong and other 1,200 Taijimen's brothers and sisters. It's a wonderful experience to me, as I'm able to conduct civilian diplomacy through cultural exchanges when I was only 10 years old. In the following years, I have followed Dr. Hong traveling to different cities in different nations, such as Australia, India, Brazil, Holland, and Kiribati. And I understand that we human beings are really world citizens with common destiny. For 24 years, what Taijimen have insist is not just our names and reputations, but more the truth and justice for world citizens. As the Hong Kong human rights lawyer, Mr. Sampu, has said, a person's injustice is the injustice for all people. When one person's human rights are violated, the human rights of all individuals can be violated at any time. With this in mind, we continue to fight for justice. It costs much more time, efforts, and resources to fight against the bureaucracy than to settle the tax bill. The reason why we refuse to settle is we understand that the tolerance for injustice is the same evil as committing the injustice in the first place. When we are stopping the injustice, we are actually injecting more kindness into the world. The love and conscience, like Dr. Hong teaches us, is the key to stay peace with ourselves, with the family, the society, and the world. For 24 years, Taijimen has never given up on truth, because we have a conscience in our hearts. And because of the love, we travel to 101 nations conducting cultural exchanges with like-minded people around the world to promote culture of peace. We will continue to seek justice and fight for a world of human rights, equity, and conscience. Thank you.
Thank you, Anne. And so I think Anne is a great example. At the age of 10, the seed of love was planted in her heart. And to date, she is still working on spreading this love that has grown inside of her since then. So thank you for your efforts and for being here with us today. And as we come to the closing of the program, we would like to invite all of our viewers today, right now, to join us, to relax and really calm your hearts and enjoy the song, Love. I remember during one of the FOWPAL events, there was a conversation that went on with a question of saying, will ringing the bell really bring peace? And the volunteers of FOWPAL all concluded and expressed their belief that a seed could grow into a plant and plants into a forest. So with each ring of the bell, the seed of love can travel across the globe. And today, with the memories of the 9/11 attacks, the persecution of Taijimen, what they have experienced, let us turn these memories of experiences into reminders that it is not what we want anyone else to also experience. So we can do good deeds around the world, spread kindness, and lessen these hurtful things around the world. And as Ambassador of Grenada said, love is not love until you practice it. So let us practice love every day. We thank you for joining us today to share your experiences, and let love be the root of everything. And as Dr. Hong said, peace needs love. Love needs to be balanced. May all of our love be balanced, and we can create peace in our daily lives and for the whole world. Let's continue to work together to foster understanding, overcome the pandemic, and to create a culture of peace with love and conscience. Thank you for joining us for today's program. We wish you all the best. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.